So you're thinking about moving to Old Town Alexandria, but you'd kind of like to know the good and the bad, maybe even the ugly, before you commit to making that move? Well, in this video, that's exactly what we're going to cover. We're going over the pros and cons of what it's like to live in Old Town Alexandria, and we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time at the channel, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell for notifications so that you'll be the first to know when a new video is uploaded each and every week. My name is Amanda, and the team and I get calls and emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Northern Virginia, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we'll be happy to help you make that smooth move to Northern Virginia. So as I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of living in Old Town Alexandria. Old Town is only about 7-8 miles outside of Washington, D.C. It's only about 4.5 miles to Reagan Airport, and it's only about 15 to 18 miles to Tyson's Corner, which kicks off our first pro: location. Old Town Alexandria is the definition of location, location, location. It's walkable, it's bikeable, it's close to Metro, it's close to DC, it's close to the airport, it's close to Arlington, Tyson's Corner. It really is a phenomenal location. And on top of that, pro number 2, Old Town Alexandria is located right along the Potomac River. Waterfront in Northern Virginia, highly sought after, absolutely beautiful area. There are 8 waterfront parks in Alexandria along the Potomac. You can check them out, go have a picnic. You'll see people riding their bikes, out for a morning walk or a morning run, walking their dogs. They have festivals on the waterfront. It really is a beautiful place to call home. Pro number 3 about Old Town Alexandria is the shopping and the dining. Old Town is really special because it caters to small businesses, and there are hundreds of boutique shopping and dining options in Old Town. You can stroll down King Street, see what suits your fancy, find all different types of cuisine, all different types of boutique. You've got luggage repair, you've got gift shops. It caters not only to the tourists, which there are a lot of tourists that come to see Old Town, but also to the locals. Locals love Old Town because of the sense of community, and you can stroll around downtown, grab a bite to eat, connect with a complete stranger, and you really have this small town feel. It's quaint, it's charming, and it's a great place to grab a good bite to eat or do a little damage shopping. Pro number 4 about Old Town Alexandria is the rich history. Old Town is a historic district, and there are so many museums that you can go see to understand what has happened since Old Town has been founded. In addition to walking tours, there are even ghost tours if you believe in hauntings and spooky things. There are still some cobblestone streets, and my favorite, there are still a lot of historic homes. These homes were built in the 18th century. Some of them have been completely remodeled over the years, where others could use a little bit of remodeling inside. They are so unique. Each one is different and has its own characteristics, and that's something that's really special about Old Town. In addition to Old Town, in terms of the downtown area, Mount Vernon also is just a couple miles outside of Old Town. So much history there. You can either take a private tour or you can just walk around the estate and not do an actual guided tour. Highly recommend that. Overlooks the Potomac River, and it really is a beautiful setting to spend an afternoon. All right, so we've told you all the wonderful things about living in Old Town Alexandria, but we've got to keep it real. So what are the cons of living in Old Town? Number 1, high cost of living. Old Town is one of the most expensive places to live in all of Virginia. It has an average cost of living that's 68% higher than the US average, and housing that's 134% higher than the US average. For groceries, you're gonna spend about 12% more than the average in the US, but there is one good piece of information that utilities are about 3% lower in Old Town. But overall, it is a very expensive place to live. Part of that is the prime location, and the other part is the fact that it's on the water. There's very limited waterfront in Northern Virginia, so it is a highly sought after area. The second con of living in Old Town is traffic. And this is one that you will hear me talk about in every single video. Traffic is a con in Northern Virginia in general. What happens in Old Town, particularly during the morning and then the evening rush hour, King Street can become very congested. It's a major cut through of Old Town, and it definitely gets crowded. People are coming on and off the metro buses. You're having to deal with the buses stopping and starting on the street. So it does get very congested. Old Town is also a very small radius with a lot of people that live there. There's over 9,000 people that live in Old Town, and east to west it runs about 1.5 miles, north to south about 2 miles. So there's a lot of people in a small area, and that in turn causes traffic to be worse. Con number 3 of Old Town Alexandria is there is limited street parking. And there are properties that sell with parking in Old Town, so that may or may not be a concern. But if you're just visiting the area and haven't actually purchased a home there yet, street parking can definitely be a challenge. Depending on how close you are to King Street or how close you are to the waterfront will definitely play a role. Those are very popular areas within Old Town, so parking is at a premium there. If you go a couple blocks one direction or the other, you can typically find street parking during the week at any time. On the weekends, if it's a beautiful day outside, it can certainly be a challenge, and you might find yourself having to find a paid lot, or there are parking garages to help ease the congestion. The fourth con of living in Old Town, and I'd say this is a really small one because it depends on where you are, but it is the risk of flooding. As I mentioned, Old Town is situated along the Potomac River, so when we have a lot of storms, there can be some flash flooding, or if we have, say, a long period of rain that's coming across the area, there can be flooding. In Old Town, though, the good news is typically if you're not within 2 blocks of the river, you're not going to have to be concerned about flooding. There are only certain areas that typically flood. It's certainly not widespread, but it is something to keep in mind when you're considering living in the area, not just for where you want to be in Old Town, but also you may want to consider looking into flood insurance to see if that's something that's necessary. So that's a brief overview of what it's like to live in Old Town Alexandria, both the pros and the cons. I really could go on about Old Town for hours and hours. It is my favorite place in Northern Virginia, so I might be a little bit biased, but it really offers so much. There's always something going on. Everything's in walking distance. You have the beautiful waterfront. It's close to the city if you need to commute in and out. It's not far from Tyson's. It just has it all. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we'll be happy to help you make that smooth move to Northern Virginia. Until next time, we hope to show you around town.